Because 40 years ago, farmland wasn't the price it is now.
No, but the percentage that you'd pay on it would have been the same, not the total.
Percentages,
yes,
exactly,
but tax is all about percent. I'm enjoying being corrected by you, Charlie, but you must let me get a word in edgeways.
Before we jump in, tell me where you're tuning in from. And remember to like and subscribe. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these stories coming. All right, let's set the scene, because this call goes exactly the opposite way the caller expects. In this exchange, you're about to hear James O'Brien take on a farmer who rings and absolutely furious about inheritance tax, or more specifically, the idea of paying more inheritance tax. From the very start, the caller is brimming with confidence. He's convinced he's about to straighten James out, correct the record, and fill in what he believes are some serious gaps in James's understanding. But that confidence doesn't last long, because instead of a shouting match, what unfolds is a quiet, methodical breakdown of the argument itself. With one carefully placed question, James exposes a contradiction the caller hasn't thought through. And once that happens, everything starts to unravel. The caller doesn't just miss the point, he walks straight into a trap that's been sitting there the whole time. What follows isn't really about tax policy anymore. It's about entitlement, emotion, and what happens when a grievance built on feeling is forced to stand up to simple logic. The frustration builds, the interruptions increase, and the meltdown that follows is something you genuinely have to hear to believe. So let's watch this together. Pay close attention to how quickly certainty turns into anger and how one basic question is all it takes to flip the entire call on its head. I'll give you my full thoughts at the end.
Is in Weymouth. Charlie, what would you like to say?
I would like to make 2 points. I'm going to correct you on your 7-year thing, and then I'm going to fill in the gap in your knowledge.
I've got the HM Revenue and Customs page in front of me on the 7-year thing.
Perfect. So
it's not me you're correcting. It's the official advice.
No, it is you. Okay. You've got the wrong end of the stick.
Okay.
But so with the 7-year thing, are you happy that a farmer can pass it on in 7 years inheritance tax free?
Hang on, you're supposed to be correcting me.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you a question.
Oh, am I happy? Well, everyone enjoys that freedom.
Yeah.
So I mean, in an ideal world, probably get rid of all the loopholes. But I think that would be brutal.
So why is it then that it's acceptable to pass on a farm in 7 years from now, but for someone that's worked on that farm for the last 40 years, all of a sudden they can't get that? If their dad died 2 years ago, if their parents die in before this thing comes in, they're going to get hit by inheritance tax. They've worked that farm for their entire life.
Yes.
Why is that? Why is that different?
Well, you've just explained why it's different because the rules have changed.
So exactly
to meet the new need, and also, of course, 1984 was the point this was introduced. So, so 40 years is the perfect point to pick, isn't it? Because prior to 1984, you'd have been paying more inheritance tax, and all those farms.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, you would. So how was that fair?
No, they wouldn't, because 40 years ago, farmland wasn't the price it is now.
But the percentage that you'd pay on it would have been the same, not the total.
Yes,
but tax is all about percent. I'm enjoying being corrected by you, Charlie, but you must let me get a word in edgeways. Tax is all about percentages, not totals. It's about the proportion of the total that goes to the taxman. So because of inflation, hang on. Because of inflation, obviously all the numbers are going to be higher.
It's not inflation.
Okay, well, because of some mysterious magic formula, all the numbers are going to be higher than they were 40 years ago. But just to show you politely the error of your ways, the reason why rules change is because of economic policy. So your point is as valid as ringing me in 1984 and complaining about how unfair it is that you had to pay inheritance tax last year in 1983, and a farmer who passes away next year in 1985, his heirs won't have to pay any inheritance tax at all. Do you see that the rules change?
No. Hang on. If you let me get a word in edgeways now, how much was land worth in 1984 per acre?
But you keep asking me questions.
Well,
considerably less. But how much was my house worth? How much was my house worth? How much was my house worth in 1984, Charlie? Answer the question.
Just now, you said that if you don't have the information, you make bad decisions. So in 1984, the average cost of an acre was £3,780.
And the average cost of a house?
I've no idea. I'm not talking about houses, I'm talking about acres.
No, you're talking about inheritance tax, which applies to houses. So what was the average cost of a house in 1984?
I've no idea, James. I don't care about houses. I'm caring about acres. That's
okay, so I'll give you a spoiler alert. They cost a lot less 40 years ago than they do now.
But
the percentage of tax that you pay is the same regardless of how much the estate is worth.
Right. So you're quite happy. You're quite happy that they can get.
I don't know that I'm happy, Charlie. I mean, that's an existential question. But if I'm offered a choice,
and now I tell you what, because we're not going to agree on this, I'll tell you why.
We can't disagree about counting.
I will tell you.
It's not an opinion. It's just counting.
If you stop talking over me and let someone who actually knows speak for once, and I know that's difficult for you, James.
Why are you so rude, Charlie? It's not
Because
my
you're
fault.
rude.
It's not my
Because
fault.
you
You've
are
just
rude.
made.
You are the rudest person on the radio because you sit there with your
I'm the
tongue in your
second.
knob.
I'm the second rudest person on the
No,
radio at the
well,
moment.
well,
At this
you're
moment,
pretty
Charlie,
rude.
it's
So-
not my fault. You're feeling silly. It's now
Blah,
2024.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
The point
this is
is,
going
I know
well.
what I'm talking about. You don't, and you won't listen.
I'll be quiet for a full 60 seconds.
Fantastic. Right, okay, I'll tell you why it's different when a farmer inherits a farm and when I inherit my parents' house. So when I inherit my parents' house, my personal house, my job, my pension, my investments, they are all protected. Do you understand that?
It's not true. You have inheritance tax to pay on the estate that you inherit from your parents. You just pay double what you will on farmland.
No. My job is protected. I pay inheritance on the asset I inherit.
Yes, the asset.
Yeah, exactly. So my house...
And the farm, isn't
is
it?
not
I'm supposed to be
impacted by that.
quiet. Carry on. But if you say things that aren't true, I have to interrupt.
My house is not impacted by me inheriting my parents' house. Do you agree with that? My personal income, my personal job, my personal investments are not impacted by me inheriting my parents' house.
Well, unless it's a B&B and you work there or something like that, unless the property is part of your business. But this is about agricultural land.
Right, okay, so now let's talk about agricultural land. So when a farmer inherits his farm that he's been working on for all of his life, that is his
not
house.
necessarily.
Now,
We just
James,
spoke.
You're going to be quiet.
But you've had 60 seconds
so you're
now.
talking over people again, James.
But you're not making sense, Charlie.
Well, you haven't let me finish.
Okay,
you haven't let me finish, James.
You finish then, Charlie.
So when a farmer inherits his farm and he can't afford to pay that inheritance tax because it's hundreds of thousands of pounds and he only makes £30,000 a year.
Well, can we crunch the numbers quickly?
That's his home, James.
Can we crunch the numbers quickly?
Yeah, by all means.
So hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of tax, presuming, of course, that it's passed from spouse to spouse and then to heir. So it's in excess of £3 million. So for hundreds of thousands of pounds at a 20% tariff, regardless of what the figure is, the percentage is 20%. You'd have to be living in an estate worth sort of £6, £7, or £8 million.
No, 4.5 million, James.
No, hundreds of thousands of pounds. You said
4.5. Yeah, exactly.
So that's 1.5 million. 20% of 1.5 million over 10 years.
Yeah, and how are you going to pay that?
40% for everybody else.
How are you going to pay that when you earn £25,000 a year?
The same. Well, I don't. How can you possibly be argued, Charlie? Charlie,
my house is protected. When a farmer inherits his farm, his house is at risk.
Why don't you sell some stuff?
Like what, James?
Well, some of your land.
Who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it?
I don't know. Lots of people are trying to buy land. We spoke to.
That's the funny
thing. Do you want a name?
Farmer's not going to buy it,
John.
are they?
John's going to buy it. John is going to buy it.
John's going to build solar panels on it.
John. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he's going to. But you asked me who was going to buy it, which you don't recognise.
We've had the
You're
offers
shouting at me
for solar
again.
panels. We've had the offers for wind farms.
Well, there you go. Then what are you complaining about?
Because we don't want to concrete over the land. I know you're a townie. I know you're happy living in your liberal elite world of London. But for us, the countryside is the countryside. It's where our food comes from, James.
So you've been offered.
You seem to have forgotten that.
Well, you
seem to have forgotten that, haven't you, James?
Charlie, you
can't
don't.
accept it.
Okay, mate. I'm going to have a
I'm
little.
not your mate. I hate you. I think you're an idiot.
Okay.
I think you're a lefty, liberal, woke idiot.
Okay, Charlie. The thing about solar panels or indeed wind farms is that they create energy. Now, can you think of any profession?
I'm an electrical engineer, James. I know how that works.
Can you think of any profession you have some experience of that uses a lot of energy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an electrical engineer, James. All of the things I do requires a lot of energy.
Oh, okay. So finding ways to produce energy. At the moment, what's rapeseed oil used for?
Oil, cooking oil for a start.
No, what's it used for? It's used to produce energy, right?
No, cooking oil.
That's heat.
No.
Yes.
Cooking oil, James. When you go and get a bottle of oilseed rape out your cupboard, where do you think it came from?
That's not all the rapeseed. The industrial production of oil is part of the energy production process, and the same is true of solar panels. Mate, they are telling you that they're going to give you money with which you can then pay your inheritance tax, and you're saying, I don't want it. I want to carry on earning a pittance.
Exactly.
Oh, well, then we're in agreement then.
We're farming an outstanding area of natural beauty. We don't want to see solar panels there. I'm shocked, but not surprised that you do.
Well, I don't like fossil fuels.
Oh, well, in that case, let's tarmac the countryside.
No,
James doesn't like fossil fuels. Let's tarmac the AOMBs. Let's tarmac them. Yeah, get some solar farms on there. Yeah, why not, James?
Hey,
James, you like immigrants. You probably want to see some homes there as well, don't you?
Well, down with homes.
When was the last time you went to a farm?
Down with homes.
When was the last time you went to a farm?
When was the last time I went to a farm? Is that a trick question?
No.
About 3 months ago.
3 months ago, right. What was you doing on that farm?
I was buying pumpkins.
Right, okay, so you've never
That's less than three.
I
grew up on a working farm. This is such a strange argument. In a sentence, I grew up on a working farm. I probably should have mentioned that sooner. I grew up just outside Kidderminster in Worcestershire. The farmers are all around Chaddesley, Corbett, and that area.
So what, your dad was a farmer?
No, I've explained several. Do you listen to this programme?
So when you... No, I don't.
Well, how can you have such strong views about me then?
Because the few times I have listened to you, I heard how you speak to people. You talk over them and cut them off, like you've done to me.
Down with that sort of thing, Charlie?
You are down with that, I know. That's what you
I
love.
mean down with talking over people and shouting at them.
Oh, I'll shout at you. I'll give you everything that you try and give me.
I've tried to give you a fair hearing.
You haven't at all.
Okay.
I pointed the facts to you and you won't accept it.
Okay.
You know nothing, James. Stick in your London liberal lefty wokeism. You know nothing about farming.
10:50.
All right, let's break this down properly. Because once you strip away the anger, the entire argument collapses. The caller's case rests on a single emotional claim that inheritance tax is uniquely unfair to farmers. He paints a vivid picture of a hard-working family man earning around $30,000 a year, supposedly facing the loss of his home and livelihood because of a crushing tax bill. It sounds compelling. It's designed to sound compelling. But it only works if you ignore how agricultural tax actually functions in the UK. Because the reality is very different. The system is already extraordinarily generous to farmers. There's a specific provision, agricultural property relief, that exists for one reason: to stop working farms being broken up to pay inheritance tax. For most genuine working farmers who own and farm their land, that relief is often 100%. That means the agricultural value of the land can be passed on entirely tax-free. The rules are structured this way precisely to protect family farms and allow them to continue from one generation to the next. And this is where James quietly dismantles the narrative. Because once you understand that protection exists, it becomes clear this was never really about a farmer being pushed into poverty. When James asks a simple, practical question, why not sell a small portion of a multi-million-pound estate to cover any remaining liability, the truth slips out. The caller admits he's already had offers. Not from nobody, from energy companies. He just doesn't like them. The solution wasn't impossible. It was inconvenient. He didn't reject it because it would destroy his livelihood. He rejected it because he didn't want solar panels on what he personally considers an area of natural beauty. And that changes everything. That's when the wider picture comes into focus. These generous tax rules don't just protect working farmers. They also create incentives for very wealthy individuals to buy agricultural land as a way to shield assets from inheritance tax. People like Jeremy Clarkson and James Dyson have openly acknowledged doing exactly that. At that point, the argument stops being about fairness and starts being about entitlement. What finally finished the caller's case wasn't James's tone or his background. It was the moment the complaint was revealed for what it was. Not opposition to a tax that would destroy a farm, but resistance to making the same kind of business decisions that millions of other asset-rich people are expected to make. And once that became obvious, the facts were no longer enough. That's when the conversation slid into insults, a reliable sign that the argument has run out of road. So what stood out to you most in this call? The numbers? The entitlement? Or the moment the mask slipped? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like and subscribe for more. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.